Greetings, YouTube and BookTube. Welcome to the History Shelf. My name is Peg, as you can see by the display at the bottom. Happy May Day, everybody. May 1st. And you know what that means? It is the beginning of Military May, a new BookTube event created by Patrice. Patrice Jones over at 2 Minutes on Books. 2 Minutes on Books, and I'm going to link her channel below. So if you have not checked out her channel or seen her videos announcing Military May, please do go over there and subscribe and join us for this event where we read based off of prompts, but I'm guessing there's a lot of leeway here. As long as you're reading something in May having to do with the military in different genres, biography, reading about a war outside of America from another country, read about a war that, or any type of military event that you don't know a lot about, memoir, fiction that has to do with military life, wars, those type of things. And as you know, if you follow this channel, military history is a large part of my reading. And so I have no end of choices in my own personal library, plus books that I'm sent by publishers before they're even out yet. But from my stack, as you can see from the thumbnail, I have a small stack. Now, my goal is to have at least 2 books completely finished in May to do a wrap-up video, hopefully more. And I hope to make maybe another check-in video middle of the month. And I might even just show you some more military books that have come in and just put them on your radar too. Because remember, you don't have to finish everything in May. It's just to kind of get you started, as long as you're reading and just coming along for the journey and posting your comments. And I desperately want to know what you guys are reading, what books you have selected. For those of you who have decided to join us on this reading event, put your comments down below. I want to read. I want to see what you're doing. And who knows, maybe there's a recommendation in there that I'm going to pick up as well. So again, check out Patrice's channel. First thing you need to do is subscribe over there. Okay, so let's get into this little stack. I'm just a disclaimer. I'm going to, plead for graciousness from Patrice and some of these prompts, because some of the books they don't quite fit all the way into the prompt. But let's start with this one, because I've shown this book before, and I told you guys in other videos that this is probably going to be one of my picks for Military May, and it is. So it's not a full-on biography of this person, but it does explore his wartime record. So I hope that will suffice for that prompt, which is, read a biography of someone in the military. And this book is from Casemate Publishers. As you know, I do a lot of those spotlight videos. I love their books. But this is Preeminent Strategist. General Joseph Eggleston Johnston, the Confederacy's Most Agile General, by F. Gregory Torretta. This is a brand new release from Casemate, and I'm really excited to read it. And I definitely, not a huge read, so I know I can get it done in this month, because looking at I have a whiteboard off camera on the wall where I write down all the reviews that I need to write for the month. And it's actually looking like a light month, although 2 of the books are really big. I think I have 10. Last month I had 13 books written down. So yes, I write book reviews in my evenings and on my weekends, guys. I'm going to remove my name there so we can have a full spread. So this is one I think I can finish. I'll read again real quick from it, just to let you guys, in case anyone out there is new to the channel. Confederate General Joseph Eggleston Johnston's brilliance in adapting to the evolving art of war set him apart as one of the Civil War's most innovative strategists. Johnston keenly understood the revolutionary impact of new technologies, such as rifled muskets, railroads, telegraphs, and trench warfare, and applied these insights to conserve the South's most critical resource, its soldiers. His motto, "Let the place go and save the garrison," encapsulated his belief in prioritizing manpower over territory. He was convinced of the importance of concentrating force to overcome the advantage in numbers the Union enjoyed. Johnston's reputation as a master tactician was widely recognized even by his adversaries. Renowned British war correspondent Sir William Howard Russell lauded him in 1861 as the Confederacy's finest strategist. Years later, Union General Ulysses S. Grant conceded that Johnston caused him more anxiety than any other Southern commander, stating, "Take it all in all, the South, in my opinion, had no better soldier than Joe Johnston, none at least that gave me more trouble." Despite his genius, Johnston's career was marred by his fraught relationship with Confederate President Jefferson Davis. Everyone's favorite, right? Davis was critical of Johnston, and his meddling undermined Johnston's strategies and weakened the Southern war effort. As noted by his contemporary, Lieutenant General James Longstreet, Johnston's talents for Army command and campaign management were unparalleled, but he was denied the opportunities afforded to others. This book argues that with proper support and alignment of leadership, Johnston's innovative strategies might have altered the course of the war. Thankfully, that didn't happen, and the Union won. But still, I've always been intrigued by Joe Johnston and just what happened to him. You know, he was injured early in the Civil War in the 7 Days Campaign, and that's where Robert E. Lee took over. You know, Jefferson Davis made him the commander of the Army of Northern Virginia, and the rest is history, as they say. And Johnston got shuffled around to the back theaters, and but he was still an important general. And then also just the butting of heads between him and President Davis were just so egregious. It definitely, like the dust jacket says, it did impede the South's ability to fight a sound strategic war. So yeah, I've always been intrigued with Joseph Johnston. You know, and after the war, he was, and there's a great photo of him on the back with, and they're both elderly here. That is Robert E. Lee sitting there with Joe Johnston. That is Robert E. Lee, and that is Joe Johnston. Joe Johnston and William T. Sherman remained friendly after the war. So it was an odd war where people across different sides maintained friendships through and sometimes even beyond the war. So anyway, I'm excited to get going on this. You know, it is May 1st, so I'm going to start reading this weekend for Military May. So that kind of fulfills like biography in a sense, but I also have another book which I've been meaning to read, and I haven't started yet. So now is a good time as any. I'm hoping this fits under the prompt, read about a war you don't know a lot about. Well, I'm gaining more knowledge about it. I'm not going to say I'm a newbie to the topic of the Vietnam War, but I want to read this book because it's about, the title says it all. It's the war within a war. And it's looking at both the Vietnam War, but also the experience of Black soldiers in the Vietnam War. And so this is the other one I want to finish this month. It's The War Within a War, the Black Struggle in Vietnam and at Home. And I thought this was a perfect fit for Military May. It's talking about a soldier's experiences. And sorry, this is by Will Haygood. And this is put out by, this is a brand new release as well. This is out right now from Knopf Publishers. And I still hope to interview Will if he's still wanting to, you know, promote the book at the end of the month. I'll reach out, but definitely want to tap into this one. It's a collection of stories about different soldiers' experiences in Vietnam, but also back home. So let me just read to you the dust jacket here. Drawing on the stories of soldiers and officers, doctors and nurses, journalists and activists, artists and politicians, Will Haygood illuminates a generation caught between two battles, one on the front lines in Vietnam and another for justice and dignity in America. Among those at the heart of the story are Dr. Elbert Nelson, a Black doctor who went to Vietnam in the aftermath of the Watts racial riot in Los Angeles, but soon found himself in the midst of Black soldier protests. Fred Cherry, an Air Force pilot, the first Black military officer captured by the North Vietnamese, who became a hero to 20 million Black Americans. Joe Anderson, the first Black cinematic star of the war after his platoon's exploits in Vietnam, were the subject of the Academy Award-winning documentary, The Anderson Platoon. That's a reminder to me to look up that documentary. Dorothy Harris, so we have a women represented here, a nurse stationed at Cu Chi, 30 miles from Saigon, where one particular death would haunt her forever. George Forrest, a captain who ran a gauntlet through enemy territory during the 1965 Battle of Idrang. I think it's Idrang or Idrang. Someone in the comments, let me know. To get back to his men and became the stuff of legend. Henry Reed, a Marine officer feared by the North Vietnamese who stood up against racism in the Marine Corps. Good on you, sir. Philippa Schuyler, a biracial concert pianist who went to Vietnam to rescue orphans, many fathered by Black soldiers, and died fleeing Vietnam with children in tow. Oh, God. Well, I hope she's wearing a crown in heaven, because that is, talk about giving your life for something. Wow. Through the prism of their lives, as well as the lives of such crucial figures of that era, Marvin Gaye and Berry Gordy, Lyndon Johnson, J.W. Fulbright, Martin Luther King Jr., and many others, Haygood brings these individuals out from the shadow of the war, revealing how Black Americans fought for their nation, the price they paid for that fight, and the profound injustices they had to endure while doing so, whose repercussions resonate today. So again, I felt like this needed to be in my Military May TBR, and it's a new release, and I want to cover it. So these two books are I'm really focusing on finishing. So wish me luck. I only have 10 scheduled written reviews due this month. Yeah, so The War Within a War. No, wait. Okay. Now, the other prompt was read a memoir of someone who was in the military. And I have many of those. I was going to use the one, but Patrice is already reading it. So I kind of wanted to make sure we have variety. So Patrice is reading The Devil in the Deep Blue Sea, which is the story of an African-American woman who went into the Navy and her experiences modern day. Like we're talking, she just wrote this book. I still want to read it, but since Patrice is reading that, I'm going to let her cover that one. I've got a couple I have one correct memoir and one that is like a memoir by proxy. It's a book I've mentioned before on this channel, and it's a book that I want to interview the author again. I had her on for another book that had to do with religion, Christianity, and current events. But I say by proxy because she is the daughter of a man who was a POW in Vietnam. So I've kind of got another Vietnam book here. So I hope that, again, you guys can grant me a little grace with the prompts. But she kind of wrote what happened to him. And in a sense, I feel like it's a memoir of sorts, because obviously he either he shared with her what happened or she found out, but she did the research, and it's a family story. So I really want to read this. And this is 6 Years in the Hanoi Hilton, an extraordinary story of courage and survival in Vietnam by Amy Shively Hawk. You might remember I did an interview with Amy on her book, The Judas Effect, how evangelicals betrayed Jesus' power. And she's getting quite the following now on all the social networks, and especially her YouTube channel. And I will link her channel too in the comments below if you want to check out her channel. But anyway, and she said she'd love to come back on the program and talk about her book about her father. The foreword was written by Senator John McCain. they were there together. So it's about time, and it's Military May. This is our booktube reading event, Military May. This seems appropriate. So let me tell you a little bit about this book. In 1967, U.S. Air Force fighter pilot James Shively was shot down over North Vietnam. After ejecting from his F-105 Thunder Chief aircraft, he landed in a rice paddy and was captured by the North Vietnamese army. For the next 6 years, wow, 6 years, Shively endured brutal treatment at the hands of the enemy in Hanoi prison camps. Back home, his beloved girlfriend Nancy eventually moved on and married another man. Bound in iron stocks at the Hanoi Hilton, unable to get home to his loved ones, Shively contemplated suicide. Yet somehow he found hope, and he became determined to help his fellow POWs survive. Now, I think I may have it wrong I don't know if he was in the same. Well, I know that, John McCain was at the Hanoi Hilton. I don't know if I'll find out by reading this book if they were, in contact and stuff. But obviously, I'll know too by the foreword that Senator McCain wrote back in the day. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me read. In a newspaper interview several years after his release, Shively said, "I had the opportunity to be captured, the opportunity to be interrogated, the opportunity to be tortured, and the experience of answering questions under torture. It was an extremely humiliating experience. I felt sorry for myself, but I learned the hard way, life isn't fair. Life is only what you make of it." Written by Shively's stepdaughter, Amy Hawke, whose mother, Nancy, ultimately reunited with and married Shively in a triumphant love story. Okay, whose mother, Nancy, ultimately reunited with and married Shively in a triumphant love story. Oh, that's going to be great. And based on extensive audio recordings in Shively's own journals. Okay, so I do believe this fits. It still fits into the memoir prompt. 6 years in the Hanoi Hilton is a haunting, riveting portrayal of life as an American prisoner of war trapped on the other side of the world. And it's a small volume, and I really feel like I can get this done this month as well. So, and then if Amy's watching, Amy, I'll reach out to you and we'll see if we can set up an interview to talk more about your father and his experiences and this book and how you came to write it. So yes, 6 years in the Hanoi Hilton. It's the other book I want to read this May. Now, a more technically accurate memoir, and this is a brand new release from Greenhill Books, but it looks really, really interesting. And this one takes us back to World War II. I've got Stalingrad Survivor, a memoir of captivity, 1943 to 1946, by Wolfram Redler. All right. So let's see here. At the end of January 1943, Austrian infantryman Wolfram Redler was captured by the Red Army amid the chaos following the fall of Stalingrad. This memoir, written by Redler in German in the 1970s, recounts the forced march eastwards and his transportation to Siberia during the merciless Russian winter. Stricken with typhus, he somehow manages to survive this death camp. The story continues with his transfer to a labor camp, describing in harrowing detail the deprivations endured by Redler and his comrades. That he or anyone was able to survive is nothing short of a miracle. Brutality, starvation, disease, and hard labor took their toll on over 90% of the troops who were captured in those first few months of 1943. Translated into English for the first time, this honest and unflinching account is a stark reminder of the cruelty of war. However, the great lesson of this book is not how we die, but how we live. So the fact that this is available for the first time in English, I cannot wait to dive in and read this memoir. I love memoirs, especially by those who have endured the unimaginable. And it looks like he's got like little sketches. It's like he was an artist. He would make little sketches in his journal, in his memoir. Yeah, so just a new release that I got thanks to the good people at Casemate, because this was going to be in my next video highlighting the new releases from Casemate. But I am jumping the gun because I want to include this for Military May. Again, so I have a little stack, and if like I said, I want to finish at least two, like totally finish them. And if I'm still kind of getting close to finishing some of the others by the end of May, I'll still feel pretty good. And I will do a follow-up video on my, a reading wrap-up of Military May, probably sometime in early June. So the next prompt would be read a book of fiction set in wartime, around a certain war or whatever. What's funny is I am I am reading a book right now that it's not out yet. And I'm writing a review of it this weekend for Library Journal. And it's powerful stuff. Now it's set in modern day. It is modern day, but it revolves around a convalescent home for veterans. But it's powerful stuff. I'm racing to finish it this weekend to finish my review, but this is coming in September from Live Right Books, or Live or Right, whatever. It's Soldiers and Sailors by Terrence Holt, and a very evocative cover as well, which was intended. This will be the final cover, I'm very certain, because it uses the painting by Bruegel's Phantasmagorical, The Triumph of Death. This is the cover. So I'm going to include this, but I have one more that I really want to read that definitely fits the prompt. But let me just, I thought, like, Soldiers and Sailors, this is perfect. Soldiers and Sailors, in the tradition of Lincoln in the Bardo, recounts the struggles of a doctor as he confronts the ghosts of his gruesome past. Set in Adams, Illinois, a once thriving Mississippi River town, Soldiers and Sailors is a haunting war novel by award-winning physician Terrence Holt that follows the tortured life of Dr. Hal Adams as he flees a medical practice and returns to his decaying Midwest home. Accepting a job as a staff physician at a veterans home, Hal encounters patients, whether real or imagined, who transport him to the horrors of World War II. His only relief being a receptionist named Nell. Adams must reckon, in ancient mariner style, with the grotesque subterranean realities of war, be it unspeakable murders in the caves of France, the Battle of Midway, or the jungles of New Guinea, weaving together his patient's relentless nightmares with the trauma of his mother's death and father's apparent suicide. Soldiers and Sailors, with its salvos of some of the most rhapsodic prose in recent American fiction, recasts the great American epic for the 21st century. And I'm halfway through, and it's powerful stuff. There's like stuff in here that's going to be like nightmare fuel in some scenarios where it's haunting. It feels like a ghost story. It feels like a vision of Bruegel's cover here, The Triumph of Death. Phantasmagorical is a great word for that. But I'm not finished, so I'm trying to see where it leads. We're getting to some things now where I'm like, okay, so how is this going to all wrap up? What is the overall, what is he trying to say here? Anyway, this is coming out in September, so keep your eyes out for that, and keep your eyes out for my Library Journal written review. Once I post that, I'm not sure when they'll run it, since this doesn't, this is not publishing for another few months, but it'll be out at some point. And then when it does, I'll post it on my social media. So be sure to follow my social media if you're interested in reading my written reviews, because I do write reviews. I don't so much do video reviews, although I'm looking into how I might do video book reviews, but I'm a writer and I come across much better in written form, and I have time to, polish my language and my message and, my analysis. So yeah. So if you want to follow my written reviews, just, follow all my social media that are linked in the description box below. And when I post them, you'll be notified. So, all right. So Soldiers and Sailors is kind of fits that, and I'm reading it right now, and I will finish it this weekend. So it's actually a book that's already done for Military May, in essence. Now, the next book for like a fiction option, straight up does have to do with like Civil War and a Civil War fiction. And I know I've been on a Civil War kick lately. If my last video is any indication, and a Civil War is very popular with all of you. I've just every time I make a Civil War video, there's so many comments. People love it. So I hope to make more Civil War book videos for you guys, because I have a plethora of books on my shelves, backlist books, but also new books coming out, books I'm reading, books I hope to read. So, stay connected. This is an independent author. Who was the publisher? It's not a huge novel, which means I have a good chance of getting this finished this month. 270 pages or so. The publisher is, oh, okay. It's a very small press, maybe Aubade Publishing in Ashburn, Virginia. This is called The Reluctant Patriot, a novel based on a true story of the Civil War in Tennessee by Susan Loafer. And even Alan Gelzo, the esteemed Civil War historian, gave it a blurb saying it is an unnerving book, a polished, shining book. So what is it about? I shall tell you. I'm just looking at the time when you see me do that. Okay, Eastern Tennessee, 1861. In the early days of the American Civil War, Harry thought it was just a quarrel among politicians until his young son ran away to join a guerrilla raid against the Confederates. Within weeks, Harry himself was falsely accused of sabotage, tried in a rigged courtroom, and sentenced to hang for treason. Based on true events in the real life of Harrison Self, this is a tale of Eastern Tennessee, where loyalty to the Union survived long after the state had seceded. Oh, this is going to be good, because that was very true. There was a very hardcore nucleus in Eastern Tennessee of Unionists, and Lincoln was rabid to keep them. He was just like, they are so important to our cause. So Eastern Tennessee, people did not want to leave the Union. This is going to be good. At times evoking the diaries, humorous tales, and adventure narratives of the period, it is the story of a man for whom love of country was not a given, but the result of decisions forged under pressure. In the course of his war, he will lose a son, plumb a daughter's love, and form a strange bond with the region's most controversial figure, W.G. Brownlow. Unremarked by history, Harry experienced firsthand the serial betrayals and surprising loyalties of a bloody war on his doorstep. How he survived and what he became is a suspenseful and moving tale of a soul's reformation. Yes. And actually, I'll be posting this on my social media this weekend, because I'm part of a book tour on this book. Now, I will be reading this month. I look forward to it. I'll be starting it this weekend. The Reluctant Patriot by Susan Loafer, from Aubade Publishing in Virginia. So, yeah. All right. So that, my friends, is my TBR. I hope to report back, and I hope to make another video. I want to make another video in the middle of the month, because as I was reading some of these descriptions to you, I was thinking of other books that I was like, oh, I should have included that one. I should have included that one. I can't read them all. I can't make a TBR that I can't even make a dent in for the month. So I thought I'd stick to a small batch, see how we do. Please let me know in the comments below what you are reading. And if you're on the fence about joining us, just, why not? Just pick one book at least. But join us for Military May. The more the merrier, because I know Patrice wants to continue this one next year. And I will also, if I'm still on this earth, God willing, I'll be doing it again next year. But for now, I think we got a nice little stack here. Really excited to get to these. And really excited that we have a Military May, military-focused event. So thanks to Patrice for creating the event. And yeah, thanks for joining me here for this, my TBR announcement. Stay tuned for more updates on Military May. I'll be using that hashtag. So until next time, guys, thanks for joining me here. If you could, give me a like, give me a comment, hit subscribe. It helps me know that, you know, my channel is of value to you out there. And I thank all of you who have just been so loyal and just continue to watch, and your comments are so encouraging and kind. And I've gotten a lot of new subscribers from my Civil War video the other day. So welcome, and welcome back to you guys. And as you can see, I've got some Civil War stuff in this stack for Military May. Yeah, exciting things happening. So until next time, guys, I won't use Bill Rutenberg's ending, because he does it best. But I will say, be safe out there, be kind, be well, and join us for Military May. Pick up a book, read about something you haven't read about before. It's exciting. You'll learn something. Okay. Until next time, guys. See ya.